Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to Easy Mathematics. We've started with how to solve or solving BECE likely question for our very candidate this year. But before we start with today's presentation, Easy Mathematics would like to say a very big thanks to all subscribers and viewers. By the grace of God, we are having 1,000 subscribers, and Easy Mathematics want to say a big thank you to you all for watching and subscribing to our videos. God bless you, and we know that with you, Easy Mathematics will be able to deliver more. Today too, we would like to look at some BECE questions, likely questions, and see the possible solutions to them. So let's read the first one and see how it goes. So it says, a motorist traveled 20 kilometers at an average speed of 15 kilometers per hour. If he made a return journey at an average speed of 30 kilometers per hour, find the average speed of the whole journey. So this is under rate, which we have average, distance, and time. So here is specifically under return journey. So the motorist made the journey, got to wherever he was going, and he returned again. So let's see how we can calculate the average speed. So a motorist traveled 20 kilometers at an average speed of 15 kilometers per hour. So when he started the journey, the distance at which the motorist traveled is 20 kilometers. And he traveled using a speed, a certain speed rate, which is 15 kilometers per hour. Now, the first thing we can do is we have to calculate the time he took. The time he took to travel or to make the first journey. Good. So here, to solve, we have to first know the time taken at a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. So the first thing I have to know is time taken at a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. Now we know that under rate, this is a formula work. So how can we therefore know the formula for finding time? Now, we don't have to keep all the three formulas. We have to just keep the first one, then make the subject to solve for the rest. Now, if I want average speed, I know that average speed is distance divided by time. So distance over time is the average speed. So if I want time, what do? I will just cross multiply. So you will notice that the time is going to be the distance over average speed. So there's no need for you to keep the formula. Just keep the main one, that is the average speed. So average speed is distance over time. So if I want time, I will make t the subject. And that gives you the time to be distance over the average speed. Now, what is the distance? When he traveled, the distance he traveled at or to is 20 kilometers. So the distance is going to give you 20 kilometers divided by the average speed, which is 15 kilometers per hour. So you are going to get the kilometers cancelling out. 5 here 3, 5 here 4. So we are having 4 over 3 hours. Let's leave it like that because we are going to use it. So when he started the journey, this is the time he spent traveling, the first journey he made. Now when he got to wherever he was going, that is his destination, he made a return. Now when he made a return, he used a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. So this is the speed at which he returned. We don't know the time, but the distance at which he's going to use to return is the same distance at which he traveled the first journey on. So we have to also know the time taken at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. Again, time is distance over average speed. Distance over average speed. The distance is the same 20 kilometers because he made a return journey. But the average speed now, when he was returning, he came with this speed. So we divide by 30 kilometers per hour. Also, kilometers cancel kilometers. This will cancel out. Now you're having 2/3 hours. Also, don't touch it. It should be there. Don't change it to decimal or mixed fraction for this one. Now that you know the time he took when traveling. So when he was going, he used a time, or he spent 4/3 hours. When he returned, he used 2/3 hours. So we want the average speed for the whole journey. Already we know that the average speed is distance over time. So if I know the time, I can calculate the average speed for the whole journey. So what do? I have to calculate for the total time taken for going and making the return. So I'm going to calculate for total time taken. And the total time taken is going to give you the time at which he traveled plus the time at which he returned, which is 2/3. So you are going to add. You are having the denominator to be common. So you pick 1, then we just add the numerators, giving you 6. So you have here 1, here 2. So the total time taken is 2 hours. Now note that with this question, you are having the denominators to be the same. So LCM is still 3. So 3 will go here 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 will go here 1. 1 times 2 is 2, which is giving you the 6. But if the denominators were to be different, then we'll have to find the common denominator. That's the LCM. So now adding this is giving us 2 hours. So the whole journey the motorist made, the motorist used 2 hours to make the whole journey. But we know that the average speed is distance. So we have to know the total distance of the whole journey. When he went, the distance is 20 kilometers. When he returned, the distance is also 20 kilometers. So what do? Calculate for total distance. And what is total distance? The distance at which he traveled plus the distance at which he returned. So this is giving you a total of 40 kilometers. Good. So now, I know the total time taken, which is 2 hours. I also know the total distance, which is 40 kilometers. Now what am I asked to calculate? The average speed for the whole journey. And average speed is the total distance over the total time taken. What is the total distance? 40 kilometers divided by the total time taken, 2 hours. So since 2 will go here 20 times, we are getting 20 kilometers per hour. So therefore, the average speed for the whole journey is 20 kilometers. And this is a question under rate, where you may be asked to find the average speed, the distance, or the time. Now we should know that whenever we are being asked to find the average speed, when the question is demanding to calculate for the average speed in kilometers, then the time should be in hours. If we are calculating the average speed in meters, then the time should be in seconds. Because for the average speed, kilometers goes with hours, meters goes with seconds. So we should also know the unit conversion when it comes to the rate of speed, distance, and that. So that is how we solve for return journey. You can be asked to calculate for only going, but this one, he made a simple return. Good. Let's look at the number 2. The number 2 is about linear graph and a line graph, where you'll be asked to find the gradient of a line or you may be asked to find the equation of a line. So let's take the first one. Find the gradient and intercept on the x and y axis of the line with the equation, or with equation 2x plus 3y minus 2 is equal to 0. The first thing you have been asked to find is the gradient. You have to find the gradient of this line. Now, what is the gradient of the line? Now, every line is having a general equation or a general formula. Every linear line, let me use the word linear. Every line graph is having a general equation. And the general equation is giving us y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. So let's look at this equation carefully and see if we can remember something when it comes to gradient of a line. Good. So we can recall that this is the general equation for a graph or a line or any straight line. Let's write it properly. Looks like it's very big. So y is equal to mx plus c. Now, the m that you are having here, the m happens to be the gradient, or m is the gradient. So in this line that you are having, y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the gradient. Now this line, come and make this line look like this. Let this line that you have look like this. And you can see that in this equation, looks like y is the subject. So in the equation that you have been given, 2x plus 3y minus 2 is equal to 0. Make y the subject. Just make y the subject. Now how do I make y the subject? Making y the subject means I have to let this one move here, this one also move here, so that we can get this standing alone. So in doing that, we are going to say 3y is equal to 0, so that 2x and negative 2 will move to the other side. So the sign here is positive, giving you minus 2x. Then this one is going to give you plus 2. Now working out this side, we are going to get 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 2. What did we say you have to do? We are making y the subject. Now, y is not the subject because you are having 3 attached to y. So you detach it. Now you are going to divide each of the terms by that value. So divide this by 3. Let's use this. Divide this by 3. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. So this will cancel out. Now what do we have? You are having y is equal to negative 2 over 3x plus 2 over 3. Now that you've made y the subject, ask yourself, what is m? M is any value attached to the x. Any value. Whether a whole number, a positive, a negative, a fraction. So any value attached to x is m. And what is m? M is gradient. So if I'm to find the gradient of this line, whatever that is attached to the x, which is negative 2 over 3, is the gradient. So you state your answer. Therefore, the gradient is negative 2 over 3. You are done and you are correct. But you can choose to also change to improper fraction, since no, it's correct. So that is it. As negative 2 over 3. So this is the gradient. You are done. So you only use this if you have already been given the equation to solve or find the gradient. Just make y the subject. Whatever that is attached to x, being positive, being negative, being a whole number or a fraction, is the gradient. So we are done with the first part. Now it says find the gradient and the intercept. What does the intercept mean? The intercept simply means that you have to solve for the value of x when y is 0 and solve the value of y when x is 0. That is the meaning of the intercept. So what they are trying to say is, if this equation is a line, find the value which will let this line be on x and be on y. That is the meaning of the intercept. So now, let's try to manage the space here for the I. So what are you going to do? We are going to substitute in and find, we are going to find x when y is 0, and also we will find y when x is 0. So you take the original equation, this. Now you are having for I, now you are having 2x plus 3y minus 2 is equal to 0. So we are finding x when y is 0. So where is y? This is y. So we are going to say 2x plus 3y, y is 0, minus 2 is equal to 0. So we are making or solving for x. 2x is going to give you 0. This one will come negative 2. Negative 3 times 0 is 0. So you can just ignore it. So we have 2x is equal to negative 2. Divide both sides by 2. You have x to be equal to negative what? 1. Good. Sorry, it's going to be positive. It's negative. Once it crosses, it's positive. So you have x to be positive 1. So if y is 0, x is 1. So now that we have the value of 1 of x, we have to solve for the value of y. So we are going to find y when x is 0. That is the meaning of the word intercept. When the line intersects with the x and y, then it means when y is 0, x is what? 1. So we also do same to solve for what? For y. So let's try to shift it here. We have the general equation as 2x plus 3y minus 2 is equal to 0. So this time we are finding y when x is 0. So we are going to get 2 bracket of 0 plus 3y minus 2 is equal to this. So this will give you 0. Now you have this to work with. So 3y is equal to 2. Divide by 3, divide by 3. So you have y to be equal to 2 over 3. So when x is 0, y is equal to what? 1 over 3. 2 over what? 3, sorry. And you can choose to change it to decimal fraction, which will give you 0.6 something something. Good. So that is the meaning of the intercept that you have there. Anytime a question is given like that, that is simply how you are to solve for it. Let's manage this space and solve the B. The II. The II says, find the equation of the line passing through the point this and this. Find the equation. What equation are they referring to? They are referring to an equation that looks like this. And this is how the equation of a line is, the general formula of any linear line, any linear graph is this. So we are coming to find something like this for these 2 points. Now, whenever you are given 2 points, to find the gradient, the first thing you have to do is to find the equation. The first thing you have to do of this point is find the gradient. And to find the gradient of a point, we use the formula y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. What is the x2? What is the y2? They are all these points. Now, you all know or bear witness with me that this point, this is x, this is y. This point, this is x, this is y. So they are all x, y, x, y. But to differentiate between the two, we decide to say let this one be 1, 1, and let this one be 2, 2. So that is where the x2, y2, and the other one came from. So now we just substitute. Per what you have given, this is y2, this is y1, this is x2, this is x1. So you substitute. So we have negative 2, which is the y2, minus y1, 4, all over x2, which is 1, minus x1, which is 3. So you substitute and you solve. Now what are we getting? Negative 4, negative 4. Negative 2, negative 4 is negative 6. Then you have this as negative 2. So this will cancel out. Now you have m to be equal to what? 3. So if the gradient of that line which passes through this point is 3. So if the gradient is this, now we are going to put the gradient in this general equation to give us y is equal to 3x plus c. We have to solve for the c to give us the actual equation. Now to solve for the c, we are going to pick either this point or this point and do substitution. So if you go for this point, you have the y to be 4. So 4 is equal to 3 bracket of the x is 3 plus c. So we are solving for c. So 4 is equal to 3, 9 plus c. We have 4 minus 9 is equal to c. Subtracting will give you this. So in place of the c, we are going to write what? 5, which is negative 5. So we are getting y is equal to 3x minus 5. And this is the equation of the line which passes through this point. We deeply apologize for how we are speeding because of time factor. Thank you very much. So this is how we solve questions based on this. We'll meet next week again and we'll look at more about this if time will permit us. That is it for line graph. Finding the equation of a line is this formula. Finding the gradient of a line is this formula. Finding the equation of a line is this formula, where m is the gradient. Then you quickly solve for that, as it has been explained. Let's take the last question, then we shall call it a day. In the diagram below, AP is parallel to TF. Angle FTF, angle FTG is 56 degrees. Line PG is equal to line TF. So this line and this line, they are equal. Find the values of A and B. Now this is angle formed in parallel lines or between parallel lines. Now whenever the question tells you that this is parallel to this, we are going to apply all the possible types of angle we can find when a parallel line is mentioned, being alternate angle, being corresponding angle, being vertically opposite angles, being Z angles or co-interior angles. We will apply all this to solve for the unknown. So now let's look at it carefully. For me not to be confused, I'll just stretch this line or extend this line. And I'll also extend this line. Now once we extend it, because this is a parallel line, we have corresponding angle, we have alternate angle, and also angles being the same. But the question has given you some clue here, which says that this line and this line are the same. So this line and this line are the same. So if they are the same, you can see that a triangle is being formed. So if a triangle is being formed, Then where are the base angles? Because we were told that in an isosceles triangle, the base angles are equal. And where are the base angles? These are the base angles. So the angle here and the angle here are equal. So if they are equal, then the problem is solved by first knowing the angle here. But this angle here and this angle, they are on a straight line. So I can first calculate for the angle here because angles on a straight line sum up to 180. In terms of vertices, what is the angle there? The angle is angle FTP plus the angle here, which is angle FTG. Angle FTP, this angle, plus angle FTG, this angle is equal to 180 because some angles on a straight line sum up to 180. So you can write because they are on a straight line. Full stop. So now we can solve for this angle. So angle FTP plus the angle here, which is 56 degrees, is equal to 180 degrees. So angle FTP is equal to 180 degrees minus 56 degrees. So you subtract. That is giving you angle FTP is equal to, that is giving you 124 degrees. So the angle here, the angle here is 124 degrees. So if the angle here is 124, then it means these two angles being equal, sum this plus this plus this to get these angles. So in terms of vertices, we are going to say the angle here, we can say FPT. Angle FPT is equal to the angle here. So the angle here, there is no name given to this one, so we can name it O, so that we can get the angle here. So we can say it's equal to angle POT, which is equal to, let's say, X, comma. Why are you saying this angle and this angle are equal? Because they are base angles of an isosceles triangle. Because they are base angles of an isosceles triangle. And isosceles triangles are the same. Isosceles triangles are the same. So now this plus this plus this should give you 180. So let's try the vertices. Now we have angle PFPT plus the angle here, angle POT, plus this angle in terms of vertices, angle FTP is 180. This angle and this angle, they are the same. So we said it should be X. So we can say summing them is 2X plus 126, which is, 124 is equal to 180 degrees. So 2X is equal to 180 degrees minus this. You have 2X to be 56 degrees. So you divide by 2, divide by 2. And what are we getting? We are getting 8 plus 8 is 16. So we are getting X to be equal to 28 degrees. So the angle here, this angle happens to be 28. This angle happens to be 28. Now you can solve for A first before even attempting to solve for B. What is A? The A, because this and this are parallel, the angle here is alternating with this angle. So what is A? We can easily write A is equal to 28 degrees Because you explain alternate angles are equal. So you solve for the A. Now B. How can I get the B? You can see that this angle and the B are also on a straight line. So angles on a straight line, what happens to them? They sum to 180. So you sum this equal to 180. Subtract this one from 180. Then you solve for the what? For the B. So you are going to get 180 minus 28 degrees. And what are you getting? That is giving you 152 degrees. And that's the value for what? For B. We apologize for explaining like this because of space. But this is how we are to do it. We've explained more of parallel lines, angles in parallel lines in our previous videos. Kindly stay tuned and subscribe also, and you will get more. Okay, thank you very much for staying tuned. God bless you. We'll meet again next week and we'll bring in more BECE likely questions before you write your exams or your final mathematics exams on the 10th of August. Thank you for staying tuned, and God bless all subscribers. Please let's share the links for others, and we know more will be expected from God, because God is by the grace of God. Thank you very much. I don't have much to say. Bye bye.